Good morning. My name is Robert Hoatson, H-O-A-T-S-O-N. I'm the co-founder and president of Road to Recovery Incorporated. We are a 501c3 nonprofit charity based in New Jersey, and our work is to help victims of sexual abuse and their families. I'm a former priest of the Archdiocese of Newark, New Jersey, and I've been doing advocacy work for victims of sexual abuse since approximately 2002. I was the former assistant headmaster at Catholic Memorial High School in West Roxbury in the 80s when my students, I thought, were being sexually abused there, and tried to intervene at that time, and I was simply dismissed and ignored. I'm with someone very courageous this morning who is here for the first time. His name is Billy Giblin, G-I-B-L-I-N. He's from Methuen, Massachusetts, and Billy is a survivor, and he'll say a few words in a few minutes. But we're here today because a very courageous young woman, a woman in her early 20s, who was sexually abused by a priest at this parish between 1999 and 2001, between the ages of 5 and approximate age of 6. Was sexually abused here by Father Kelvin E. Iguabida, also known as Kelvin E. Iguabida Rodriguez. Father Iguabida is a convicted felon sex abuser. He served several years in prison, and it's not unusual, many years later now, after his incarceration and his supposed fleeing to Honduras, we believe, that another victim has come forward. This young woman has spent the last 15 years approximately of her life, attempting to survive from the horrific things that were done to her here at All Saints Parish in Haverhill. We applaud her, we support her, and as a result of her courage, attorney Mitchell Garabedian of Boston has been able to file a civil complaint in Middlesex County which alleges that two priests, Father William F. Murphy, who is now Bishop William Murphy, the Bishop of Rockville Center, Long Island, New York, and Father Paul Maselli, who is an administrator at the John the 23rd National Seminary in Weston, who were responsible for the assignment and the supervision and the retention of priests throughout the Archdiocese of Boston. Well, we believe that many flags were raised as soon as Father Iguabida was ordained in 1999, and he came here as his first assignment. And within months of his being here, he probably was abusing many, many people. In fact, there was some evidence that he abused an adult woman even before his ordination to the priesthood. And so we're here today to applaud this young woman for coming forward and allowing her attorney to file a lawsuit on her behalf in Middlesex County Court, because Father William F. Murphy, who was the Vicar General, the number 2 man behind Cardinal Bernard Law, and Father Paul Maselli, who at the time was the Secretary for Ministerial Supervision or Ministerial Ministry, Ministerial Personnel, responsible for the assignment of priests, probably were aware of, or should have been aware of, the preying on children by Father Iguabida. It is another sad day. The Pope was just here. There was great excitement around the Pope. I saw him in 3 different cities. Of course, I was there for a different reason. I was with victims who were triggered by his visit and who were finding it very traumatic to deal with. But here we are, just a week or 2 after the Pope was here, and more evidence of sexual abuse and the cover-up of such. And so we applaud this young woman. We're here for her. We support her. And we hope that she will recover as well as she can from the horrific things that occurred to her. Let me ask Billy Giblin to say a couple of words now.
I'm just here to support the victims. I'm trying to get myself strong enough to come out with my story. And I deal with it every day. And it's not an easy thing. And that girl is very courageous.
Thanks. Any question?
Can you tell us something about the lawsuit at all? Like, it's a civil suit, or?
It's a civil suit, yes, in Middlesex County Court. The reason why Mr. Garabedian is suing these two priests is because they had direct supervision over Father Iguabita and many of the priests who were obviously sexually abusing children at that time. Remember, the time that she was abused, this was the height of, just previous to the explosion, of information, and Judge Constance Sweeney attempting to get all of the files released in the Archdiocese of Boston. So here we are in the new millennium, in the 2000s, and this is still going on, and this young girl, obviously, being a 5- and 6-year-old, it's just unfathomable to us that a priest would do that to a child.
Does any statute or limitations apply in this type of a situation in terms of bringing a civil case forward?
That's a good question. You better double check it with Mr. Garabedian. I'll tell you why. Because the law in Massachusetts changed recently, and I believe the age now might be 53. So I think anybody who was abused and has not turned 53 yet, I believe has the opportunity to file some sort of a legal action. But double check that with him. The statute changed recently.
It's interesting. It's not time. It's the age of the victim.
It's age now,
Do you know what the future holds as far as the case, or?
Well, we're hoping that Bishop Murphy and Father Maselli will not only apologize, but tell us what their role was in the assignment and the positioning of Father Iguabita here in the parish. What did they know? When did they know it? It has been reported that this man was on his way up the ladder, the clerical ladder, because they were about to send him to Washington, D.C. to do a degree in canon law, which is a very prestigious position to hold in any kind of diocese or any kind of church position, is to have a doctorate in canon law. So for whatever reason, this man was targeted to become probably an administrator in the Archdiocese of Boston.
Does locating Iguabita have any bearing on this case?
I don't believe so. He was defrocked by the church. We believe he has fled to Central America, and we're not sure. Is it possible that the Middlesex County or the Essex County prosecutor will take a look at this case and find something criminal in it? We don't know, but Mr. Garabedian can speak more to that issue.
Can you give us an idea of how many abuse victims you work with directly?
Since 2002, we have worked with over 3,000 victims internationally. Another priest and I began this road to recovery in 2003. We were finally incorporated, I should say, in 2005, but we really began working in 2003, and myself in 2002, when my students here in Boston went public with their abuse. And I've been coming back ever since to work with them and try to help them recover from this. So we've worked with over 3,000 internationally, and we get probably 3 to 4 calls per week of new victims from across the country, across the world. We have Jerry Sandusky victims from Penn State. Interestingly, you might find this interesting, we were outside of Fordham University not too long ago in the Bronx, New York, with a male victim of a Jesuit priest. His wife was with us. Well, later that afternoon, as we were having some lunch after our protest, she said to me, I'm a Bill Cosby victim. So here was a priest victim married to a Bill Cosby victim. So now we then went public with her. She's now on the front cover of the magazine, the New York magazine that did the cover story on the Bill Cosby victims. So we work with all kinds of victims, and this is, as we know, it's epidemic in our society. Bill, you want to say anything else?